Hi guesties, and welcome to another episode of GAC TV. I'm Shelby Wilds.
And I'm Max Fiddler. You know we live in a weird state when people start wearing shorts once it gets to 32 degrees. Let's hope this weather can hold out until spring break.
Perhaps you've seen some of the news coverage of the Keystone pipeline protest. To hear the stories behind the protest, I sat down with Gustavus students to find out what their thoughts were on what happened in DC 2 weeks ago.
The Keystone XL pipeline is a tar sands pipeline that would carry 830,000 barrels of oil from Alberta, Canada, where they extract the oil, to the Gulf of Mexico, and they would do that much oil every day. And so we would like to see that stop.
This protest that was happening in DC was all student-led, student-organized, and that was really the goal of it, was to attract not only just students, I guess, but young people across the country to take a stand for something that's totally going to affect us now in the present, as it's being debated on and decided in the next coming months or year, and also for our future and what that would mean. The devastation to not only the environment, which is a huge concern for a lot of people, but also to the communities in which that damage occurs in, and just thinking about like who lives in those communities and how much we are all affected by waste, water contamination, and though that's an issue that's very localized and geographically kind of specified, but in the end it's like it all kind of spreads to the earth that we all share.
Over 1,200 students or youth came to protest with us, and some parents even came alongside, which was really great to see. It was one of the largest youth protests in history, but also something major was that students were willing to risk civil disobedience or risk arrest for this action that we were doing, because we were trying to make this statement to President Obama, like Anna said, about how we voted for you, we are the youth living in the next generation, and it's time to act now. We can't just keep waiting and making our futures worse.
I felt that, having this position in society where I can go to the White House and say, hey, there are people who are not okay with this. I see that. I'm not one person who will be directly affected, but I understand that, and I'm here to be in solidarity with them.
When Ryan and I attended the protest in DC, we actually ended up forming, I guess, a little drum corps with other students, mainly from Gustavus, but I believe a couple from the U of M and just other people from around the country brought instruments there. And we ended up serving kind of as a rallying point for all 1,200 people who were marching.
At the protest, it was incredibly peaceful, and so I think when we think about protests and civil disobedience, we're like, oh, people are going out there and getting angry and throwing their fists up, and actually, people were coming together and we were singing and saying chants, like someone would say, show me what democracy looks like, and the crowd would respond, this is what democracy looks like.
My favorite part, as far as the receiving end, was coming back to Minnesota and seeing this blow up on social media and also, old media. It was in the newspaper and on television and online and stuff like that. And so that's how we really got the word out. The point of this was to, one, get our message across to President Obama, but two, a huge thing about civil disobedience and us participating in that civil disobedience is getting people's attention. Mm-hmm. And we did just that. I've had so many people come up to me, and people I don't even know, saying, hey, I saw on Facebook, I watched the live feed online of everyone getting arrested. That's so cool. Tell me more about the Keystone pipeline.
These things matter and they affect us. And if you take time to reflect on why it's important to you, how it affects you, how you even contribute to it, and then where your responsibility is from there, it calls you to action to do something.
People don't realize that if we eliminate other forms of life, we essentially are going to end up eliminating ourselves, because we depend on every single form of life. And so it's very disturbing to think that we can just wipe out something and we'll all be good.
I might kind of challenge the Gustavus community that while this might not directly impact them, it will indirectly impact them, both as family and friends around the country, around the world, and themselves, who will be affected by the climate change that will be produced as a outcome of these decisions if the pipeline is passed.
We're actually having an XL Dissent event next Friday. I don't know if other people have talked about this, but it's going to be the Political Science Friday Forum, so it's going to take place in Old Main, room 5, from 12:30 to 1:30. It's just going to be like a memoir of our trip and a conversation around how it went, how we felt about it, and what we're thinking about as we are back here on campus.
The Keystone XL pipeline is a contentious issue all the way over in Washington, D.C., as well as on the Gustavus campus. So if you have any questions about this ongoing debate, I'm sure these activists will be more than willing to provide you with some answers. They've got a lot to say. Reporting for GAC TV, I'm Shelby Wilds.
For our sports update this week, Kelly Thoutland covered the end of the winter sports seasons.
Thanks, guys. With the men's and women's hockey season over, both teams have earned all conference awards. Seniors Adam Smythe and Corey Lieberman, along with sophomore John McLean, were both honored as members of the MIAC All-Conference team. Freshman Drew Aspinwald was named to the MIAC All-Rookie team. Alongside the men's team, senior Melissa Doyle, juniors Courtney Boucher and Carolyn Dreyer, and sophomore Allison Eder-Zedlick all earned MIAC All-Conference awards. Junior Carolyn Dreyer also earned the Elite 22 award, which is an award given to the student athlete with the highest GPA. Dreyer has a near-perfect GPA of a 3.98. Men's and women's basketball seasons both have come to an end, with both teams earning all conference awards as well. Senior Jordan Dick and sophomore Brody Ziegler were named to the MIAC All-Conference team, while Martin Feddersen and Brian Jacobs were named to the MIAC All-Conference Honorable Mention team. Feddersen also earned a spot on the All-Defensive team, and freshman Peter Cruz was selected to the All-Rookie team. Along with men's basketball, women's basketball senior Julie Disty and sophomore Karina Schroeder were named to the MIAC All-Conference team. This past weekend, men's tennis swept Bethel, and senior Juan Luis Chu earned a spot as MIAC Athlete of the Week for a stellar performance to both singles and doubles. Gustavus is currently 5-0 in the conference and 13-1 overall. The men's tennis team will travel to California this weekend for the Stag Hen Invitational. Alongside the success of the men, the women's tennis team stands 2-0 in the conference after earning wins against McAllister and Concordia. First year, Michaela Scholes earned MIAC Athlete of the Week after going 3-0, recording a number one spot for both singles and doubles. The women's tennis team will travel to St. Ben's at 2 p.m. on Saturday. That wraps up this week's highlights for the Sports Report. Reporting for GAC TV, I'm Kelly Thoutland.
We've all heard of TED Talks, but have you been wondering what GAC Talks is all about?
Our reporter, Cami Byer, talked with Cab to find out more.
GAC Talks has kind of branched off of what TED Talks is. And TED Talks is a nationally renowned conference that happens all over the country. And we kind of got the idea from St. Olaf, believe it or not. They have Stowe Talks there, and they recently started that up a couple years ago. We were thinking we want something like this on campus because we want to hear from students, we want to hear from faculty and staff, and even alumni about their experiences, about things they're involved in, about research they've done, and kind of bring that to the campus so everybody can kind of see it.
The tagline of GAC Talks is Ideas Inspiring Action. Really, we just wanted people to speak about something that they're passionate about, and obviously a story that's worth sharing. That's something we want to focus on too. But we have people talking about a wide variety of things. We've actually been getting applications for the last couple weeks, and we have people that are talking about social change or how to present yourself on social media and the importance of alumni connections and networking and things like that. And we have people talking on bad statistics, and kind of just one of the things we wanted to focus on was that there are so many people at Gustavus, not just students, but faculty, alumni, professors, all of these people that have these amazing stories to share. And if you don't personally interact with them, you might never know anything that they're doing.
So the way the day is going to go, it's going to be split up into 2 sessions. It's going to start at 10 a.m. on that morning and go to noon. And then we have like a little break for lunch, about an hour, and then it starts back up at 1 and goes to 3. So with those 2 sessions, our speakers will be split up, and each speaker has a maximum of 15 minutes to give their presentation. It's kind of like short and sweet. Everybody can get the idea and just get inspiration from it. A big challenge has been kind of getting the word out there of what it is. It's not going to be your typical Nobel conference where you're sitting in a place for a long period of time listening to speakers and stuff. It's going to be very engaging and hands-on.
There are so many little things that you can do that can positively impact something else. And so I'm just really hoping that people come away with a sense of that. Even if they listen to Kathy Thunheim speak and they're like, oh, I don't think business and like what she was talking about is something that I want to do, you can still find that passion for what you want to do. And so that's kind of like the overarching theme, is that passion and that inspiration. And that's something that I want people to come away with.
We hope that everyone who comes to this conference on March 22nd walks away with something, whether it's from one speaker or multiple speakers. We want people to walk away feeling inspired to take action into their life.
Thanks, Cammie. That's all we have for you tonight, Gustavus. I'm Shelby Wilds.
And I'm Max Fiddler.
Keep it classy, Gustavus.
Kelly Thotland. Okay.
About the Keystone Pipeline protest. Okay.
I'm Max Fiddler. Hopefully we don't have to hibernate like hobbits in our caves much longer.